Very good morning to all. It is our great pleasure to welcome you all to the Knowledge 4.0 webinar series, which is one of the unique and distinct initiative of Chennai Institute of Technology under the guidance of our Honorable Chairman, Sri P. Sriram, who is one of the successful first generation entrepreneur, a well-known industrialist, managing director of MK Group of Companies. Knowledge 4.0 is one of the unique initiative by which we are calling the eminent professors and researchers from premier institute and premier research organization to enhance the knowledge of faculty members, researchers, and student community during the lockdown period. So this lockdown period is making all to learn from the eminent professors and researchers by means of the Knowledge 4.0 webinar series. Under Knowledge 4.0 webinar series, we have been conducting webinars such as Research Webinar Series, Technical Webinar Series, Career Guidance Webinar Series, and Innovative Talk Webinar Series. Apart from this, we are also conducting national seminars, international seminars, national workshops, international workshops, and faculty development programs. Today, we have Dr. Ramesh L. Gowdas, who is going to take 1 hour webinar on tips on effective scientific literature search. So I will primarily welcome him to this wonderful forum. Chennai Institute of Technology was established in this year 2010 by our Honorable Chairman, Sri P. Sriram. Today, our institute is being within top 10 among all other private engineering colleges in Tamil Nadu. Thank you, sir. And this tireless effort is being taken by Chennai Institute of Technology is purely to enhance the knowledge of faculty members and researchers and student community as a social responsibility during this lockdown period. We have the motto, lockdown is only for the country, lockdown is not for learning. By keeping this as a motto, we have been initiating lot of webinars. So far, we have conducted more than 140 webinars, and soon we will be touching 150 within next week, mid of the next week. So it is my pleasure to welcome you all the participants to this wonderful webinar. And when I want to say something about Dr. Ramesh L. Gowdas, so I always used to say I am bringing only the people who are all inspiring me. So such a person is Ramesh L. Gowdas. This is the first time I am meeting him in live, and I am talking with him now itself only. But I am following him for about 3 years through Facebook, and I am learning something from him because of his research. And even though he is very young, he became professor because of his hard work, and he has completed his BSc chemistry from Gujarat University, from South Gujarat University in the year 1960 to 1998, and 98 to 2000 he has completed his MSc from physical chemistry from South Gujarat University, and he has completed his doctoral degree from Norbert South Gujarat University in the year 2000 to 2004. He is extensively working on ionic liquids, chemical thermodynamics, and group contribution methods, that is structure and property correlations. So he has done a lot of research projects, and he is advising so many research groups, and it is my very happy and pleasure to have such a wonderful person to this forum, and he is the right person to talk about this topic. And I requested him, even though I requested him during very short period, he has accepted to have a talk as a social responsibility. And thank you so much for coming to this forum, and you can go out of sharing your sessions.
Thank you. 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Please.
I'm starting. Good morning, one and all. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would like to thank the Chennai Institute of Technology organizers for conducting this webinar. And I'm happy to see that around 950 plus delegates registered for this webinar, and 400 plus are already online, and I'm sure few may be joining soon. And it's early morning, and I'm sorry I am held up with so many meetings, so I have to push this little bit early. I hope all of you are relaxed now after having your breakfast and tea or coffee. So it's not dumped with so much scientific knowledge, but it's only the some tips how we can manage the literature search, how we can manage the scientific search, and how we can master it. Anybody can learn, and by just a little bit dedication and spending more time on this. And you will be surprised to know even myself was not at all aware of any computer about 25 years ago. Okay, so it's a matter of time, it's a matter of dedication, it's a matter of interest, whether you like it or not. And this searching tips is not only for scientific. Even if you want to order some grocery or some toys for your kids on different online search engine, or what do you call this, Amazon, Flipkart, or so on, or other things. I'm not advertising for anybody, but these are the same way where you do there also and here also. These are little bit complicated, but the principles are same. So you will be happy to learn all these things, I'm sure. And please note down few points if you like, or I would be happy to share my slides through the organizers, so you can contact them. So but you can note down my email ID, GARDAS, this is my last name, at iitm.ac.in, and you can WhatsApp me anytime. This is my WhatsApp number, 988-499-6125. So I will be happy to answer all your questions at the end of this session, or later on through email or through WhatsApp. So let's begin the journey before delaying much. I'm from chemistry department at IIT Madras. We have a very beautiful campus, and we do have a varieties of the birds and animals. You see deers and monkeys, snakes, though they don't harm anybody, and mongoose, and beautiful birds voice you will hear if you wake up early in the morning. And we do have some poisonous snakes and many professors. So let's begin the show. So you know, the research is, if you want to divide, it can be divided into 5 parts. Start from the research and discovery, authoring and research output, peer review, publishing and distribute, and post publication. So my talk would be based on authoring and research output for this, or also for research and discovery. I will let you know. And this is the overview. We will start looking how to start the literature search, what are the sources available, what are the common errors we do and how to avoid them, how to find relevant papers, or how to find what I want, and how to analyze these results. I will give you some live demo of Scopus or Web of Science websites, and organizing this large collection of literature, how to do. And the last but not the least, very important point, how to get the latest relevant literature into your, instead of you search here and there, how about the exact research or exact papers relevant to you come to you. You don't do anything, but it will come to you. While I am talking to you and you are listening to me, still research has not stopped. Many papers are coming online, maybe now, maybe in next 10 minutes, and we may miss it. How often you will search? How nice if you get that to your inbox. We'll tell this also. And please note that this is not for expert people. The target audience is just about to start research, PhD students or project fellows or young faculties. And this is not for only chemistry people. This is for physics, mathematics, biochemistry, agriculture, pharmaceutical, or any science, even engineering or law or humanities, anybody. Any field, it will be applicable. These are the tips. So please pay attention and feel free while listening. You are free to have your own breakfast, your own coffee. Organizers are not serving anything. So let's begin. You see the cartoon, they're saying, no matter how carefully I surf the internet, I always get too much information. We think that not having information is a problem, but the bigger problem is too much information. What you need is about a little bit, 2 or 3 drops. And when you search in Google or Wikipedia or any scientific search engine, you will get an ocean. And it's a challenge. It's a problem. What you really want, you don't know. You don't have time. We have limited time. For a PhD student, maximum 5 years. Of course, you can stay longer, but you have so many other complications. You don't have fellowship. You don't have parents force you to get married, and you are looking for a job, and so many other things, by the way. No, we'll not go into that. So, if it is a PhD, you have 5 years, 260 weeks approximately. How many papers you can read, or you should read, or you may read, or you can read? It's limited. If it is a project, you have limited time. So we don't have much time. How to get? So let's begin the show. We'll ask few questions to ourselves, and then we'll try to answer. The question number 1, what to search? 2, where to search? 3, how to search? Let's see. Before going to answer of that previous 3 questions of what, where, and how, let me ask the 4th question, why to search? You should search literature and you should understand thorough results, because you should not duplicate the study. You should understand the background of the study, what you would like to do. You should know what are the best methodologies and what people have already done. You should not repeat the same thing, because there is no meaning. People will not appreciate. You should understand the previous efforts and the future, what you would like, what kind of gaps are there, and how you will feel. And you have to make familiar yourself with that field. So for all these benefits, you must do the literature search thoroughly. Similarly, if you ask more question, the literature search, and by doing literature review, a critical analysis of existing literature will be presented, and you will be able to evaluate the progress in that research area, and you will capable to identify the gaps between already studied and the future, so you can fill that gap, so you will contribute significantly to the specific field. And analyzing literature also show what research has been done and what is needed to be done. So that's about why. Let's go to the next question, what to search. This is very, very critical and very, very crucial. You know that you will find the answer for many things in Google and in Wikipedia. Let's say I have a headache. I don't know how to solve it, and I am sitting in front of this computer. I opened Google, I opened Wikipedia. Will they understand? No, you have to communicate. You have to communicate them. Nowadays, orally communication also possible, Google, Siri or other thing. But you have to communicate in a way they understand. Here they means search engine. So you should know the search engine's language. Of course, it's English, but the nature of choice of the words. And that's key thing. And we call that's a keyword. There are varieties of the keywords you should know, and each key can open a specific lock. Similarly, each keyword will give you specific set of results. You can play with the keywords, you can mix with the keywords, you can get the targeted set of the results with the specific keywords. We will tell you in the future slides. As of now, we have only one message for you. Keyword is the key to success of good literature search. Once you do good literature search, you understand the topic thoroughly. Once you understand the topic thoroughly, you will do good research and you will succeed. All the matter here is limited time. Everybody wants to do good work. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to help the society. But everyone has a limited time. So in a limited time, how to get the targeted results is a key. And for that key to success is having a good set of keywords. Probably the best license one can register for a PhD is asking him or her to write 25 to 50 keywords of his own PhD topic, which he is going to do for the next 4 or 5 years. Can he or she write 25, 30, 40, 50 keywords? If yes, I think he or she is eligible for PhD, and not only eligible, I'm sure he or she will do good PhD. So having said keyword is a key to information, this will help out the specific set of papers. It will help the research to find what he wants. It will help the research to not to waste the time, and keywords will define the field, subfield, topic, research issue, and etc. Most of the electronic search engines, database, websites, or publishers use these keywords to decide whether and when to display your paper. Like you are searching for a specific paper, if I ask you the question in opposite way, you are ready to publish a paper, and in couple of weeks or couple of months your paper will be published and appear online, and anybody working in your own field, when they are searching in the search engine, how they will get your paper? I'm sure each one of you would like that your paper should appear on the top. So they will download or they will read. So both will have same answer. Even if you want a specific paper, or you want your paper should appear on the top when others search, both will depend on right choice of the keywords, title, and abstract. So any journal, when you submit a paper, they ask a set of keywords. Nowadays, some are not asking because they will take it from your abstract and title. But most of the journal ask 4 to 6 keywords, and these are the key. This keyword, how it should be, we will see in couple of more slides. So this should be either theme-based, or topic-based, subtopic-based, variant, and full forms, shortened words, abbreviations, or the synonyms, and all these things I will tell you in couple of more slides. The keywords can be based on geographic, based on climate, based on the topic, based on the instrumental method, based on experimental method, based on instrument name, based on theme, based on topic, subtopic. And please remember, it's a keyword. It can be one word or 2 or 3 words. It cannot be like a sentence. Many journals ask the character limit in specifying the keywords. And please remember, without space keywords are more influential than keyword with the space having 2 words. For example, pollution has a more influence than the air pollution because there is a space. Climate has a more influence than climate change. sustainable and development are specifically or individually more influential than sustainable development. We will tell few more tips if you have space in between what you do. So potential applications, keywords can be on application like energy efficiency or long-term preservance or treatment of cancer, or organic farming, or it can be on an issue, sustainable development, climate change, genetic engineering, or it can be a application or issue or instrument name or the topic or subtopic and so on. There is one more suggestion here. Do not use your words or phrases title as a keyword. You need not to repeat the words what you write in title. Why? Because title anyway considered as each individual keyword, while search engines, all search engines are based on keywords and title and abstract. If you repeat the same word what you used in title and an abstract, you are missing one more word. You are missing the chance of hitting your paper on top. So please remember, and please note that throughout my talk I will be giving so many suggestions, so many advices. This talk look like a preachy, but please bear with me. As I told you, my targeted audience are young researchers, those who are just about to start research, and young faculty. So I think I am eligible to preach, at least in this talk. So while writing keywords or while searching for keywords, please pay attention at the spelling mistake. One guy was searching and came back to me, "Sir, this is excellent. There is not even one paper in the history. Nobody has done this work. We will be the first one." I told, "What you search?" So I say, "I searched this." It will check the spelling. If spelling is wrong, you will not get any results, and you may excite that nobody has done research. So we have to be careful about spelling mistakes, and you also careful about the different spelling variations. Color, would you like to write with U or without U? COLOUR, or without U, COLOR. How you will write color? Because US and UK use some different spellings. You have to pay attention this, and you have to pay attention synonyms. Somebody use fluid, somebody use say liquid, somebody says something else. Water, H2O, and different names. We do have different names. Like that, many topics have different names. Acronyms, synonyms, now the short form, abbreviation, longer form, and all these things you have to pay attention. How to search, keeping all these things in mind. The most complicated one is a plural. Should I search liquid or liquids? Should I search man, MAN, or should I search men, MEN? Always singular and plural is a problem in the searching, but we can address them. Okay, you will see in the later on. Define your keywords such a way whatever alternative vocabulary are there can be used. As I told you, you can search liquid also, you can search fluid also, you can search color with U, color without U. And you see one more thing. If you want to find a term where child, children, childish behavior, and all these things in a single term, can you do? Child, children, childish. People say, yes, it is possible to search all three at a time. You write child and then dollar. These are the shortcuts. No need to write down now. I will tell you few more at the end. Okay, a couple of slides more. A common abbreviation you should understand, and you should understand the specific case of and your topic. And sometimes you want to electrolytes only for battery. You don't want electrolyte for the capacitor. So how to search? You want to understand the pollution, only air pollution, not the water pollution or land pollution or other pollution. So how to do? Pollution, only air, but not other. Electrolytes only for battery, not for supercapacitors. So there are the way to do all these kind of things. Now the question comes, where to search? Please remember, I told why to search, and then I told what to search. Now it is where to search. Then we will go for how to search. So the question is where to search. Many of you may knowing the answer. It's a search engines. It can be an individual publisher website. I put mostly chemistry and the natural science and the engineering. You can have for humanities, or you can have for social science. You can have for other things. These are the publisher publish almost everything. Elsewhere, Springer, Taylor and Francis, Wiley, Nature, Theme, Deep Routledge, Claus, Sage, so on. There are so many publishers are there. You can go to individual publishers' website and search. Isn't it time consuming? Do we have this much time? No. It's a time consuming and also frustrating. How many places you will search? So for that purpose, you can search in search engines. It's a SciFinder, Web of Knowledge, Scopus. Please, I have only put the science one. You do have engineering ones, IEEE. You do have a social science. You do have for a law. You do have for humanities. All the databases. But these are the databases where you will find those also. Okay, these are the world's biggest database, SciFinder, Web of Knowledge, and now the Scopus. It's a huge competition between them. It's a business and marketing. Let's not go into this because all of them are subscribed, paid. Free versions are very limited. You can't access, you can't even log in without subscription. And many institutes are purchasing this because research has to grow. But there are some search engines and there are some very good websites where you will get free of charge and you need not to have any subscriptions. And the most important one, which are free and very popular, or the big databases, are Google Scholar, Microsoft Academics. These two are most popular and free. Mendeley has a both version, free as well as paid. ORCID is free. Publons is free. They're very good websites. But you don't get the full text. You will get to access to title, abstract, keywords. Some of them offer references also, but not all. But title, abstract, and keywords are free. So now, is this enough? What I am answering, where to search? Is this enough to search in the publishers' websites and search engines? Is this enough? Answer is no. Because all may not be publishing their own work. I was telling some more bibliographies other than Scopus and Web of Science. There is Embase, Gesture, ProQuest, and there are MathSciNet and ERIC and sociological abstracts. This is a psychological, this is medicine, inspect. I don't know many of them because that's not my field. But I do know that for each field, there are databases are available. So coming back to the point, just searching in the publishers and just searching in the search engine is also not enough because many people won't publish their work there. Many people publish their work directly in forms of books or book chapters. So you need to search in books also. And many theses or many researchers get a job and finish their PhD and they will go into the different topics, postdoc or a job or something else, and their unpublished work will remain unpublished forever. So you should have access to library, to their theses, their dissertations, and some people just present their work in conference and they do not publish. They do publish in conference proceedings only. So you have to read books, book chapters, theses, dissertations, conference proceedings, And some are so intellectual, they don't care publishing, they just write their blogs. And they do put so much information in that. Their opinions, like even interviews, even magazine articles, even newspaper science blogs. So the literature is everywhere. It's not only in the publishers' websites, search engines. You also look for books, theses, conference proceedings, science blogs, newspaper, magazines, repositories. Some are just archives, need not to be peer reviewed, need not to be published. They just publish in archives. So possible. So you have to look every place, and I'm telling you the most important thing, and note down the things. Noting down is the crucial part in the research. Otherwise, what happens? It's a circular. Same and same thing you will be searching, same and same results you will be getting, same and same thing you will start getting excited. Then you realize, oh, I saw this paper 3 months ago, but I didn't read. I searched this 15 days ago, but I didn't realize this is important. For any young researcher, it is very, very essential to take a note with the date and noting down. If you are what you call lazy in writing everything, just copy paste, put a Word file separate. But not keeping a records is very, 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 very essential. Now, fifth and the last question, how to search, which is very, very crucial. We saw the answer, why to search, okay, what to search, where to search. Now the question comes, how to search. Of course, there are many tips. If you see this Clarivate's Web of Science Group's Web of Science database, there are more than 12,500 journals, and each journal publishes so many issues. Each issue will contain so many papers. And apart from this journal, more than 2 lakh conference proceedings are there. There are over 250 scientific disciplines are there. There are more than 230 scientific categories. When I say scientific category, it's not only science and engineering, it's everything. Natural science, engineering, humanities, social science, law, medicine, psychology, everything. 236 categories, 1.7 billion references in 159 million articles, and all this in last 120 years. How you will search? It's in a big ocean. How many you will read? Of course, we need not to read more than whatever supposed to be, because we have a limited time. Now the question comes, how to get the relevant one. Since you have this many options and you want targeted one, you need to have a strategy. So the strategy involves, you should ask yourself question, what exactly you want. And this question can be divided into words and the concepts. And these concepts and words should be a keywords. And these keywords, you can have a selection of, or the collection of the keywords. From the collection, you to select. First you have to collect, then you have to select. Then you choose the database where you want. You don't rely on one database. You have to do in different database. Then from the selected keywords, with the different combination, you do search. And when this search, you evaluate the result. And after evaluating the results, you save. Okay? So save, and write. This is the strategy. Otherwise, what happened, my friends? You will do same thing and you will not go anywhere. You refine it, do it again, refine it, do it again, refine it, do it again. This is not an overnight journey. This is a lifelong journey. I ask my students when they are about to join for a research, and also I teach the research methodology course, I ask how long one should do literature search. 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? No. As long as you are in the research field, as long as you want what is happening in the field, as long as you are interested to know new things, as long as you want to know how world is changing, as long as you would like to cope up with the changes in the world, you should do little research. So it's a lifelong journey. As long as your research life is there, you have to do research. Even though I said my targeted audience are young researcher and the PhD students, this rule is applicable to everybody, to you, to me, and all experienced researchers, even Nobel laureates. So define your keywords, start your research, and one thing I told you about noting down the most important things. So far I told: 1, keyword; 2, noting down, and now I am telling the third one. The third one is follow citations both backward and forward. What it means? Let's say I did a literature search and I found one paper which is very relevant. Then I stopped literature search, and that one paper I got a full text. Okay, I have a full paper now with me, very relevant to my topic, and this paper published in 2015, 5 years ago. This 2015 paper has cited 70 references. So after reading this paper, which is very, very crucial for me, so you have choose only one paper. Even one paper you choose is fine, but that should be the most relevant. And from that one paper, you can dig out everything. It's like a honeybee's net, and you are hitting the target. Even with one honeybee or one stone, you are hitting, and that one stone is your one paper. So after reading that entire paper, now for you the backward citation is 70 papers cited in your choice of single paper. That your choice of single paper which cited 70 papers would be likely to be very, very interesting for you, because the work is very interesting. So the work cited this paper also will be interesting. This going through these 70 papers is called backward citation. So backward citation is very, very important. It's called backward searching. So backward referencing, backward citation, backward searching, backward referencing, whatever you want to give the name, it's fine. The backward searching is very, 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 very crucial to save your time. Now you need not to do all other things, just use this. And from the backward 70, even if you get 3 excellent papers, again you can go for backward. And this is the way to make a good library to save a time. Now, forward. What is forward? When this paper published, you are targeted, interested, one single paper, it published in 2015. What is the year now? 2020. So, this paper published 5 years ago, and in this 5 years, many researchers could have found this paper is interested and could have cited this paper in their work. Your choice of 2015 paper has been cited in many papers published in 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20. If you find out who cited this paper in the next 5 years, from 2016 to 20, this is called forward searching or forward citation. Since you know you like this work, you like this paper, the other person who cited also likes this, so likely to be of same topic, likely to be of your interest. It will save your time. And moreover, forward citation is very, very interesting. Forward searching is very, very interesting, because you are going to the close to the reality. the ground time, that is 2020. So the new papers what you are getting would have been updated. If there are any mistake in the previous, always there is a risk if you read old and old articles, if they have done any mistake, they could have published in the newer ones. So always your choice of the first paper reading should be as recent as possible, as thorough as possible. So it should be a review. If anybody wants to read their first paper of their research journey, I would say it should be a review article, it should be a lengthy article, and it should be as recent as possible, because recent one only will tell about all the modification. And keep a written record of your searches. I'm repeating again, that was my second suggestion. Keeping a record, writing down, saving is the key. So we told three things. Keywords, you should have a large collection of keywords. You should have a selected keywords. You should have mix and match keywords. The second one, you should also learn what is forward citation, what is backward citation. By the way, that is the third one. The second one is keep track of all your records. Writing down, writing down, writing down. Now we will go to the forward. How to get these alerts? You don't want to search. The result should come to you. Okay? We will see how it is possible later on. First, let's see. Let me check the time, how much I have. Let me finish in 10 to 15 more minutes. Okay, 10 more minutes, then I will take 5 minutes question, then we'll close it. Okay, so now this is going a little bit next level. Please pay attention. Now we will look for some advanced search techniques. Okay, there are search operators, Boolean operators, proximity operators, and there is a precedence, who will go first, who will go second, who will go third when 2-3 people are competing, and how to use parentheses. If you don't remember these words like operators, Boolean, proximity, don't worry. Just pay attention what is happening and you will learn everything. You see here, I highlight few things. And, A&D, or, OR, not, NOT, near, NEAR, same, SAME. Please don't scold me that I am teaching a UKG student or LKG. These are very, very important operators, because you should know this, you should understand them, how to use. These are essential in search engine, any search engine. Please remember, I wrote it in capital letters. It's not required. It can be in the lower case, or it can be uppercase, or it can be in the mixed case. Whenever you search these terms, this will be considered as an operator, not the search term. Let's say I will give you one example. I want to search science and technology, the department, okay? Department of Science and Technology. In this Department of Science and Technology, there is a word called and, science and technology. And when you search this and, A&D and, no search engine will take as a word. It will take as an operator. It will take as a command. What is the command here? The and before science is there, after technology is there. So it will take a command to search the hits or the targets having science and technology both. Then only it will give you the results. The results with only science, results with only technology will not be given, because and has taken as an operator, and has taken as a command. It's called operator. So then how to do? What to do if operator itself is a part of our, operator is a part of search term? I will tell you in soon, okay? We'll go forward. So search can be simple, advanced, or expert, and you have to spend time. It won't come in, even though you listen to this talk or listen to second time or third time, you will not become master. You have to practice by your own self. So and will give you the results in the both. If I say A and B, it will give the results in which both are there. If I search A or B, it will give the results either A or B, both. So the target, when I say science or technology, the results are so many. All results with science, all results with technology will come. But when I say science and technology, the results which have both the terms, science as well as technology, only will come. When I say science and not technology, science, not technology, so it will give you only the results of science without including the technology word. So you have to pay attention these Boolean operators, and or not. And we generally put it in uppercase just to distinguish this is, or just to realize ourselves that these are the operator, not the search terms. This is I already told, and or not. And now the question comes, near or same. When you write near, you are looking for two terms. Let's say science near 5 technology. So I want the technology term should be 5 words near to the science, either left side or the right side, or either in the beginning or in the later. So it will search in the database. When you use near, it should be nearby. Okay, if it is far from that, it won't give the results. The same is when you have synonyms like liquid and fluid. When I say liquid, same, fluid, you will get all the answers of fluid also and liquid also. These are the few symbols. It's called wildcard. Wildcard characters or the truncation symbols. If you put a star, I will tell you in the next slide. These are the Boolean operators, and, or, not, near, same. Now these are the truncations or the wildcard, asterisk or star. People say asterisk, or I would say star. Anything is fine, but you should know what is that. And dollar and the question mark. So these are wildcards or the truncation symbol. If I put a star at the end, it can have more characters. If I put a star in the front, it can have more characters in the beginning. More or nil, 0 or more character can give the star. If I put star, carbon, star, it can search simple carbon, it can search hydrocarbon, carbon before hydro, or polycarbonate. So it can search carbonate, polycarbonate, hydrocarbonate, hydrocarbon, carbon, and it has everything. If I put a dollar, it will take a single or 0 character. If I put color dollar in place, so dollar can be no character, dollar can be any one single character. The question mark also is the same, but there is a small difference. If you don't know this endoblast is with T or endoblast is with a D, you put a question mark. So how dollar and question mark will work, I will tell you. In different search engines, different database are different. Okay, please don't confuse yourself. But more or less, 99% rules are same. But there is a small variation in database by database. You should know each specific database advanced search. So dollar finds alternative endings. You see child. So here it was telling dollar in the middle, but you see here it is telling dollar in the end, because these two are different database sets. These are the most common one. This slide is the most common one, Web of Science. Dollar finds generally at the end only. It can be any number of characters, but only in the end. Like child dollar will give children, childish, childlike, childhood. Question mark will give you only single character, and that too in the middle anywhere. If I put WM question N, it will match woman and women. If I put asterisk, asterisk can be anywhere, beginning, middle, end. This is the one of the best wildcard. That's why people use asterisk a lot. Okay, asterisk. But the problem is, can you replace here question mark with asterisk? Answer is yes, but asterisk will take more than one character also. Here you are damn sure that there is only one letter or only one character, but you don't know whether it is E or A. In that kind of case, you should not use star. Star you should use when you are not sure it is one letter or two or more or even no letter. Question mark cannot be used for 0 character, but star can be. So if I search HOF star, please pardon me, I read this as a star. You can read as asterisk or anything. HOF star, MAN star will match Hoffman, 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 so many varieties. This can be 0 or F. This can be 0 or one more N, and it's a mix and match. You see one more things. Can you use 2 wildcards at a time? Yes, you can. I gave you example here using question mark and asterisk both at a time. Organization, if you put with the question mark here and star here, you can go organization with S, organization with Z, organization with S and S plural, Z and S plural, or you can go for organizational. With one word of this searching, with 2 wildcard using, you are searching 6 keywords at a time. And this is the power of wildcards. This was the power of Boolean operators you have seen here, and this is the power of wildcards. Now, 2 more. Near 10. If I put Germany near 10 Monterey, because what it means, I want to search both the terms, monetary and Germany, but both should be nearby within 10 words. It can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. But if it is 11th word in between, it won't search. Okay? So you have to be careful. And near 15 will give you salmon, near 15 virus. And if you put near 0, it should be next to each other. And this number can be any number from 0 to 255. It depends on the search engine. Some search engine will give up to 99. Some search engine will give up to 255. Some search engine will give maybe more than that. It depends. So please don't worry about this TS. This is a topic and all these things. But near 0 indicates they should be next to each other. Near 0 means you need not to write. Okay, it's the next. But just to understand, the same has the same meaning. Okay, like I told you, fluid and liquid. Here, McGill University same as Quebec as same as Canada, means you want to search all the results having Canada or Quebec or McGill, it will give you the answer. This is AD means address. You don't worry all these things, I will tell you later on. Okay, cat same mouse means you want to see the results for cat also and mouse also. Okay, this is the meaning of same. And cat and same, here you want to read the answer for cat and mouse. Here cat and same, there is a small difference when you search cat and mouse and when you search cat same mouse, because it depends what are the other keywords you are using, what are the search engine you are using, what are the database you are using. It may likely you may get same results, but there is a minor difference. This is only for who wants to have a career in database and search engines, not for a PhD student, unless you want to do PhD on how to search the literature. So these are the things I told you, operator. Now the question comes, what will happen when more than search operators are coming together? Who will go first? Let's say in the search term, you are using Boolean operators, you are using wildcards, you are using so many things at a time. Who will go first? For example, you see here, copper or lead and algae. So you are here or and who will go first? What are the rules? So the rule says, if you use more than one operator in the same search, near will go first, then same, then not, then and, then or. So accordingly, and will go first or will next. So here, lead and algae answer will come first, that is one set, and then it will search copper or and this set. So the answer will be different if you search like this or like this. If your intention is to pay more attention at algae, then you want results of algae with either copper or lead, this is not a good search term. It should be like this. No, sir, this is too much. I don't want to remember all these things. Is there any further shortcut? You will be happy to know, yes. You need not to remember this order. Further shortcut is there. It is called use of parenthesis, bracket. You use this to avoid all the confusion. Then you don't care or is going first or and is going first. Once you put a bracket, because your search term is this one and this one. You don't care whether or is going first with these two and is going with this first to this side. So you don't worry. So to avoid confusion, no need to worry about this precedence. You have to use enough parentheses, brackets, or inverted comma. Inverted, okay? Quotes, quote and unquote, or bracket. So I told you about Boolean operators. What were they? I say star or asterisk, question mark, dollar. And I told you about the wild Boolean operators are and, or, not, same, okay, near. And wild cards are star, asterisk, question mark, dollar. And you don't want to remember the precedence, so you have to remember either bracket, what you call parenthesis, or inverted comma, or whatever you say, this what you call quote and unquote. So these are the some tips. And you can, how many keywords you can use at a time? I think I'm overshooting the time. 5 minutes, we'll close it. Sorry. So how many keywords you can use? Usually at a time you can use 1, 2, 3, or 4. People will search more than 4, but it's risky. You will not hit any results. So if you want to search more than 4 or 5 key terms, the best way is you have a set. Use 2 keywords, have 1 set. Use another 2, have another set. Use another 2 or 3, another set, and then you combine this search set. So you will get this one. Or this answer will give you, the red one is a set of 11 search engines. It's for only advanced people, okay? 1 search, 2 search, 3 search, 4 search, 9 search, you combine this, you combine, it is possible. It is possible, okay? But it takes time to understand, it needs a lot of practice and so on. So I'll go a little bit quick because some are important things are there. What are the common errors we do? Don't rely on one source, one engine. You look for various things. And don't search too general terms or too narrow down. If it is too narrow, you will not hit any results and you say nobody has worked, how I can work. If you get too many results, you say everything has been done, what new I will do. So you have to be careful in search, okay? Too broad or too narrow is not good. Now the question is, if you have so many results, as I told you, note down, and save, how to organize? Organizing is a big challenge. I have all my results, whatever I want in my computer. I have 150 PDF files. I know the paper is there, but I don't know where it is. I know it is in my computer, but I don't know where it is. And my guide asked me to give in 5 minutes. What I will do, I will download again. So this is the key things. Now we'll go forward. How you can organize? You can organize by broader, it's like a funnel. Broader topics, subtopics, studies like discovery, realization of need, consideration, conversion, retention. And this can be a chronological, like date-wise, year-wise, or the trend-wise, or the theme-wise, or the method-wise you can do. Or you can have a set of agreement, positive results, set of disagreement, negative results, or review article, or letters, or short articles, or theme-based, or the instrument-based theory, computational, modeling. You can put different folders. What is the best way? the best way is the way you would like to see them, and when you search, when you do search of your own search results, you should find quickly. If you find quickly wherever it is the work, that is the best way. Whatever I said is not the best, because I am not going to search, you are going to search. What you will get it quickly, that is the best way, whatever the way you like. And the last but not the least, to keep up with the new publication every day and targeted publication, it is not impossible. It is possible. Even though millions of articles are there and thousands are publishing every day, and maybe 10-15 of your interest every week, still getting that 10-15 per week of the targeted is not impossible. Without doing literature search, they will come to your inbox free of charge without paying a single penny. You have to pay only for internet, and you have to spend time. So the next 1-2 minutes, I'm going to tell that, and we'll end the talk. It is not impossible, it is possible. And you should expand your network other than that, and you should share your. So if you share good thing with others, other will share with you. If you share your results with others, other will share with you. If you share your latest research with somebody who are working in that field, they will share with you. So this is a part of networking and sharing. And it is possible that paper comes to you, to your inbox in the HTML file. Just click that, you will go to that paper quickly. And this is free of charge. For that, people say it is alerts, people say it is keep me posted. It will be different, the terms in the different website search engines. What you should know, visit the relevant publisher to you where the papers are published, or search engine, any publisher or any search engine. They do have to option to make a profile free of charge. You create your profile there free of charge. Do search using the specific keyword search, author search, publication search, citation search, or anything, and then set alert. Alert can be a monthly, alert can be weekly, alert can be daily, alert can be instantaneously. But please be cautious. With over enthusiastically, you set alerts in various websites for various search, and you put instantaneously, you will get so many emails every day. Then you don't have a time to go through, and then you will only deleting them. So instead of saving time, you are losing your time. So be careful while setting alerts. Think twice. Is it really useful for me, this kind of results? And am I having time to read it every day? Is it enough for me weekly? I set alerts weekly. Is it enough? Can you wait to read that new paper for 1 week? Or I have some alerts instantaneously. Immediately I will come to know. I have set some alerts weekly. I have set some alerts monthly. So you should know what is more priorities. This can be done by registering in various publisher, register, login, search, and set alerts. It can be done in ACS, RSC, elsewhere, Springer, Taylor & Francis, Wiley. It can be done in any of this publisher or any of these search engines. All of them they offer. All of them. If not all, many. I have alerts in almost everything. Everything. So it is possible. Any topic. Some of these also, Google Scholar also offer following the authors whom you like. That author's new paper come, you will also know. Publons offers, ORCD offers, Mendeley offers. Many of them are free of charge. And these are the various scientific search engines where you like. So before concluding, I will go 1 second in Scopus and Web of Science. But let me conclude this, so I need not to share slides again. So to conclude my talk here, people say search engine work based on various things: crawls, index, engine bots, spiders, algorithm. I don't have computer or AI knowledge. I'm not a computer engineer. I am not a artificial intelligence and all these things. Whatever code or language or software algorithm they may use, I don't care. But I believe to hit the specific target, one has to pay attention to their search terms, operators, wildcards, and the mix and match. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you. And before taking questions, I will give you few seconds demo, and my screen is still sharing. This is Scopus. I'm sure you are able to see my Scopus screen. Here I can set alerts. You go into advanced. I hope it works. Similarly, I'm working on Web of Science. You go into here, advanced. Oh, by the way, these are subscribed one, but these are not free. Those who are subscribed, I will tell them. Those who are not subscribed, please excuse me, not a problem. So you see here, it's clearly written and, or, and not pre. See, the pre I didn't teach. This W is with or within. There it was other term. Here it is within. Okay. There it was same or near. The within in and near is same. If I click it here, you see here, within term will give 0 to 255 character. Pain W15 morphine will search pain and morphine close within 15 words. Okay. Similarly, pre will take only the previous one, 255 words. And you see how many are here, affiliation and all these things. I will just search affiliation and I will search affiliation country. Okay, I will delete all these things before previous one. I'll search affiliation country, India, and I search it. You will see the results. Similarly, you see here, advanced search is only for a people who has done the literature search for quite long time and they want to save more time and how to be advanced. And these are the some shortcuts. You need not to remember them because each search engine will give you all these things where to search. Like a country, here it is CU. If I search CU is equal to India, I will get all the results for India. Okay, like that, all authors, everything are there. Then once you get the results, you see here you got the results. Once you get the results, you see year wise how many, which year what, who published more, which field is more, and most important thing is which keyword is more. Okay, view more keywords. This will tell you the keywords, which keywords in India has been published more. You can see all also. So this will tell you what kind of keywords are famous in India. Case report, drug, animal, chemistry, drug efficiency, algorithm, mouse, optimization, catalysis, blood, oxidation, water, data mining, antioxidant. So these are the keywords. Then you will understand protein and you will see the country wise. India has collaborated with whom more? United States, UK. You can play around, my friends. There are so many ways. Unfortunately, I don't have time. This hands-on experiment alone can be one entire lecture. Similarly, in here you can see all the results, 14 lakh. Here it is showing more. India is here, it is showing 22 lakh results because it includes patents, it includes conference proceedings. This database shows 14 lakhs because this is limited something. I can analyze results. There are so many ways that once you get a large set of database, you can refine by the year or by the topic, by the theme, by the keyword, by the author, by the country, by the field. You see in India, material science is dominating, then chemistry, then various chemistry, physics, medicine, and engineering, and so on. If you want to see which country has been collaborated with us more, according to Web of Knowledge, and you can see for 25 countries. So these are various ways. So India has more collaboration with America, then UK, then Germany, South Korea, so on. So you can also see where you want to collaborate. So for a specific topic, and I'm sure this will never end. So sorry for going long, and thank you all. Now over to the organizer, and I can take some questions. I will stop sharing my screen. Thank you very much for your patience.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much. Thank you. It's a wonderful experience, and so hope this will highly useful for the researchers. Not only you said that it will be only useful for the beginners, but it's not like that. So even I hope I am doing research, but I hope publish some good amount of papers. Even though I was not knowing this research criteria, but certainly.
I just typed my email and my mobile number in the search chat. All of you can note down. You can send email to me questions, because I have another meeting. Sorry, I don't have time now to answer. And please use my mobile number only for WhatsApp. Please don't call unnecessarily. Okay, WhatsApp I will answer, not a problem. Email I will answer, WhatsApp I will answer, and I will take all the questions only on WhatsApp mode and email mode, because I have to go for another. So, sir, over to you. Please conclude in few minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, thank you. Thank you. So a lot of questions have come to our inbox, but as you have another meeting, so we will. So I will do one thing. I will consolidate this question. One I will send to you, so you can answer it. Or shall you take one question or one or two questions?
Yeah. And before taking one question, I will give you one good news, that I don't mind sharing these slides. I can share these slides through the organizer, but please individually you don't ask me, because it takes a lot of data and time. I am not going to send the slides to anybody except the organizer. You can ask the slide directly to the organizer. Yeah, I can take one question, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I allowed some peoples. So let's wait for a.
But please, sir, 3 to 4 minutes or maximum 5 minutes.
Yeah, yes, I understand. Sir. Yes, I understand.
Yeah. 11 o'clock, I have a Viva.
Yeah, yes. We will conclude the meeting within 2 to 3 minutes.
No problem.
And, so one question I will take out.
Sorry, little bit loud, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, one important questions. So, people, sir, so this Dr. Bhagavati Parmal, he has asked this question. Sir, can you explain something about the impact factor journal of paid and unpaid journals?
Oh, that's a debatable. That's a different field. Okay, there are some open access and paid journal are different. Please don't categorize both. There are open access journal for which you have to pay. There are open access journal for which you will get a coupon and publish. So instead of telling paid and unpaid journal, let's see the reputation of the publisher, reputation of the journal, and the people who are publishing. If I tell in a single line, if I say single line, whom you think that they are well-known people in your field, let's say top 20 or top 30, top 20 in the world and top 20 in the world. These 40 people are publishing in any journal. Now you don't tell me paid, unpaid, open access, not access, high impact, low impact, doesn't matter. If top 20 people in your field in country, top 20 people in your field in the world are publishing are there, then these are good journals. If they are not publishing, they are not good journals.
Great, sir. Great. Sir, thank you so much. I understand you have another meeting. So
no, I can take one more question, not a problem.
Yes, sir.
I hope I answered, because
yes,
impact factor is very, very difficult to answer, because it depends on the citation. Citation depends on the quality. Quality depends on where you publish, and where you publish depends on again impact factor. So it's a circle.
Yes, sir.
It's a circle. It's difficult to answer, but the best way is your contemporaries are publishing there, that means they are good journals. Good journals means you will get more citation. More citation you are getting means impact factor will go high. All are interrelated.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. So one question, sir. So in the Web of Science group, we have lot of categories. Then how the SCA is superior than other indexing in Web of Science?
There is this is not science, it's a business. Okay, let's, as a researcher, let's not worry about who is better, who is not better. But if you see the volume of the database, each one are open. Okay, nothing is secret. Whether it is SciFinder, whether it is Web of Knowledge, whether it is a Scopus, they will tell what is their database. And these are the largest database in the country now, as much as possible for science and engineering. Humanities and social science, I am not aware, so I am not commenting on there. But these are the popular, well-known, and the largest database, and unfortunately, all of them are subscribed. They do have their answers for why they are charging, because they have to pay salaries for many people and so on and all these things. So let us not go into that. But to answer to your question specifically, these are the well-known databases, and nobody is great. The great means their result should be there. Only thing is, Scopus is proactively taking more and more conference proceedings, more and more books, more and more patents, whereas each one have their own limitations. Maybe the number of people working in their team, maybe they have some set of rules, some set of guidelines, whether they should include ISSN number based journal, those who took number 1 year ago, 2 year ago. So, and different journals are writing to them, please include us, please include us. So it's a continuous process. It's a continuous process, and everybody, and you will be surprised to know it's a big business, big business, but for the development of science. I hope I answered your question.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all, and please stay safe and enjoy. And the only motto is help others, so other will help you. Great. Thank you.
So we'll meet in some other occasion, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think this is a very good presentation. So really, this would be very useful for all the beginners, not only for the beginners, for all. So this is not this presentation is not specific to any stream. So this will be highly useful for the arts, science, humanities, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, engineering, whoever may be. So thank you so much, and we will meet in some other time. Thank you.